October 27th, 1948. Donora, Pennsylvania, a small industrial town in a valley. Population 14,000. That morning, fog settles over the town. Dense fog. Nothing unusual for October in Pennsylvania. But this fog doesn't leave. For 5 days, the fog sits over Donora like a blanket. But it's not just fog. It's poison. A toxic soup of sulfuric acid, fluoride, and metal particles from the steel mills. 20 people will die. 7,000 will get sick. Half the town. And the factories that caused it refuse to stop. This is the Donora Death Fog, where a company valued profits over lives, where people suffocated in their own homes, where children died trick-or-treating on Halloween, and where 20 deaths led to the creation of America's environmental protection laws. Donora, 1948, a steel town, built in a valley along the Monongahela River. 2 massive factories dominate everything: U.S. Steel Works and American Steel and Wire Company. They run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, belching smoke and chemicals into the air constantly. The air in Donora is always bad. Everyone knows it. Thick smoke, metallic smell, burning eyes, constant cough. But this is the price of employment, the price of feeding your family. You breathe poison or you starve. If you can't breathe, it means the factory is working. That's what people say. It's a joke. But it's true. The factories pump out sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, fluoride gases, carbon monoxide, heavy metals, zinc particles, all settling over the town. Plants won't grow. Paint peels off houses. Metal corrodes faster. But people adapt. You have to. October 27th, Wednesday morning. Dense fog rolls into the valley. Nothing unusual. Donora gets fog regularly. Usually it burns off by afternoon. This fog doesn't burn off. It sits. A temperature inversion has formed. Cold air trapped below warm air, like a lid on the valley. The fog can't escape. The factories keep running, keep pumping pollution into the air. But now the pollution has nowhere to go. It's trapped in the fog, accumulating, concentrating. The fog turns yellowish, then brown, thick. Visibility drops. By evening, you can't see across the street. October 28th, Thursday. The fog is worse. Yellow-brown, acrid smell, burns your throat to breathe. Visibility near zero. People can't see their own feet. Drivers can't see the hood of their cars. Some abandon vehicles in the street, walk home feeling their way along buildings. Factory workers arrive for their shifts by following the sound of the whistle. They can't see the factory until they're touching it. Inside the mills, conditions are somehow worse. The smoke from the furnaces mixes with the fog. Workers pass out. Some vomit. But production continues. October 29th, Friday. People start getting really sick. Not just coughing, gasping for breath, chest pain, burning eyes and throat. Hospitals filling up. Elderly people struggling. People with asthma collapsing. But nobody connects it to the fog yet. This is Donora. The air is always bad. Dr. William Rongaus, the town's main doctor, is seeing patients non-stop. Same symptoms everywhere. Respiratory distress, like they're drowning in air. He's never seen anything like this. By Friday evening, the first person dies. An elderly man. Heart failure brought on by respiratory distress. October 30th, Saturday. More deaths. 3 more people die. Then 5. Then more. People are dying in their homes, dying on the streets, just collapsing, dropping dead. The fog is so thick now that ambulances can't navigate. Volunteers form human chains to carry sick people to hospitals. The hospitals are completely overwhelmed. Hallways full of patients on gurneys, gasping for breath. Oxygen running low. Doctors and nurses working without sleep. Dr. Rongao's calls surrounding towns begging for oxygen tanks. He's watching people die and can't save them. Friday evening, town officials finally understand what's happening. The fog is killing people. They call the factories, beg them to shut down, stop pumping poison into the air. The factories refuse. Production is too important. Shutting down costs money. They keep running. October 31st, Sunday, Halloween, the deadliest day. 17 people die. 17 in one day. Old people, middle-aged people, a few younger people with asthma. They just stop breathing. Some families lose multiple members. The town is in panic. Children were supposed to go trick-or-treating. Most families keep them inside. Some kids venture out. You can't see houses across the street, knocking on doors blind. Some children collapse, have to be carried home. It's a horror beyond any Halloween costume. That afternoon, the rain finally comes. Not much. Light rain. But enough. The temperature inversion breaks. The fog begins to lift. By Monday morning, November 1st, the air is clear. For the first time in 5 days, people can see the sky. But the damage is done. 20 people dead. Nearly half the town sick. 7,000 people with damaged lungs. Hundreds will have permanent respiratory problems for the rest of their lives. The youngest victim was in his 20s. The oldest was 84. Most were elderly or had pre-existing conditions. But healthy adults got sick too. The factories finally shut down. For 3 days. A gesture. Then they restart. Business as usual. U.S. Steel issues a statement. The fog was a natural phenomenon. The deaths were unfortunate but unrelated to factory operations. Just coincidence. The Public Health Service launches an investigation. They study the victims, test the air, interview survivors. The conclusion is undeniable. The fog was saturated with industrial pollutants at toxic concentrations. The deaths were directly caused by breathing the poisoned air. The concentration of sulfur dioxide was 5 to 10 times higher than normal. Fluoride levels were off the charts. Particulate matter so dense you could weigh it. For 5 days, the people of Donora breathed concentrated industrial waste. Lawsuits follow. Families sue U.S. Steel and American Steel and Wire. The companies hire the best lawyers money can buy. They fight every claim, argue the deaths were from natural causes, from the flu, from weak constitutions, anything but their pollution. Eventually they settle, out of court, minimal payments to families, no admission of guilt, no acknowledgement of responsibility. The exact settlement amounts are sealed. But survivors later said it was insultingly small, a few $1,000s per death. The companies paid more for the legal defense than for the victims. But Donora changed something fundamental in America. Before Donora, air pollution was just accepted. The price of progress, the smell of money, jobs. Nobody questioned it seriously. After Donora, that became impossible to ignore. The images of a town suffocating, children gasping for breath, 20 dead from breathing air. It shocked the nation. Public Health Service used Donora as evidence that air pollution kills, that it's not just unpleasant, it's deadly. The first National Air Pollution Symposium was held in 1949, directly because of Donora. Scientists and officials discussing how to prevent another Donora. The discussion led to the first federal air pollution research funding in 1955. In 1963, the Clean Air Act passed, the first major federal legislation controlling air pollution. In 1970, the Environmental Protection Agency was created, the EPA. Its entire purpose: prevent another Donora. Every air quality standard, every emission limit, every pollution regulation traces back to 5 days in October 1948, when a small Pennsylvania town couldn't breathe. Today, Donora has a memorial to the victims. 20 names. The youngest was 22. The oldest was 84. Most were in their 60s and 70s. People with their whole lives still ahead. Killed by air, they had no choice but to breathe. The steel mills closed eventually, not because of the deaths, because steel moved overseas, became cheaper to produce elsewhere. The town declined. Population dropped by half. But the people who were there in 1948 never forgot. Some still have respiratory problems 70 years later. Damage that never healed. October 27th to November 1st, 1948. 5 days. A fog that wouldn't lift. 20 people dead. 7,000 sick. A company that refused to stop poisoning the air even as people died in the streets. And the birth of environmental protection in America. The Clean Air Act. The EPA. Every breath of clean air you take. Paid for by the people of Donora who couldn't breathe at all. This was the Donora Death Fog, where profits mattered more than lives, where a company watched people die and kept the machines running, and where 20 deaths changed how America thinks about the air we breathe.